Hi guys, what is up? Welcome to the State of Crypto, your one-stop source for all crypto-related news. I'm your host Martin, and this is episode 33. PricewaterhouseCoopers to accept crypto, VanEck to launch an ETF, and 100 times leverage trading on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Stay tuned, you'll find out how. If you're catching us live, welcome. And if you are catching the replay and have any suggestions for us, please make sure you leave us a comment below. Yesterday, we had a sad thing happen on the stream. Someone gave us a thumbs down. Our first thumbs down in 35 videos that we've made, maybe? Anyways, don't just leave us a thumbs down. Let us know what you didn't like so we can try and fix it. And, you know, we can keep on improving ourselves. If you want to keep up to date with the latest crypto-related news, make sure you subscribe. You hit that like button and that bell so you're notified when we go live. We go live every day at 9 p.m. Central. 10 p.m. Eastern for those of you that are watching us on the East Coast, and, well, -5 UTC for those of you that are international. Now, if you want to keep on chatting with us once the stream is done, you can join us on the Discord. Links in the description. We are actually active on Discord, and we do post updates there as to what is happening or what we believe might happen as things start to develop, right? So, if you haven't done it yet and you want to join us, please feel free to do so. Now, to our friends in Florida, I hope you guys are doing well. I know there's a lot of rain and a lot of wind going on. Sean Christian, I hope you are doing okay. Sarah Elizabeth, I hope you're doing okay. And Soka, if you are tuned in also, well, whatever you are, man, thank you. I think you said Mexicali last time, so thank you for tuning in, and let's get on to the news. On the news, more good news of acceptance, right? PricewaterhouseCoopers Luxembourg will accept crypto payments from clients starting next month. Right, the move is a response to client demand and to demonstrate that PricewaterhouseCoopers Luxembourg believes in blockchain technology, medium and long term, right, and what role it will play in the economy. Now, PricewaterhouseCoopers Luxembourg said that it partnered with a local exchange to facilitate the payments. They didn't say which exchange, and they have not stated which coins they're gonna take. However, Pricewaterhouse Hong Kong office accepted a Bitcoin payment in 2017 for work related to cryptocurrency auditing, right? So interesting that Luxembourg is starting to take payment as a form of crypto. Might spread out to other places depending on how they do, and that will be good for everyone, right? On other news for the crypto market, Bitcoin Company Limited will close down its operations. The exchange stated, right? It's a Thai exchange. Now, Bitcoin Company Limited has decided to discontinue offering digital exchange services and wallet services at their bx.in.th website in order to focus on other business opportunities, right? Customers do need to withdraw their funds before November the 1st, 2019. The exchange was regulated by the Thai Securities and Exchange Commission, and all deposits will be disabled after September the 6th, and trading will be halted as of September the 30th. They're citing that they might go and do some things related with shipments at the port. I believe, you know, we covered an article a couple days ago stating that some Korean exchanges were faring really bad due to low volume trading. It wouldn't be a surprise that they probably have low volume trading, right? There are much bigger competitors offering exchange services worldwide now. They might have low volume, and that probably is the underlying reason why they're focusing on something else, right? We found this other article that says the new version of Firefox will block cryptocurrency miners by default. Now, this does state that unauthorized crypto miners are scripts that run energy-sucking operations on the web browser without your knowledge or consent. They literally steal your system's computing power to make money, right? So I think that's deeply shady, and that's what they added the crypto mining blocking to enhance tracking protection on Firefox. I'm unsure. I mean, I've never had any problems with that. I use Brave. I'm not sure if Brave blocks them, but anyways, good thing that they're doing so, right? If someone is mining on your power, you should get something in return. If not, block them. Sounds pretty fair. On to the market, right? On the daily, yesterday we had a nice positive day as well, right? 1.76% up today, right now, 2 hours ago, closed the day, remember? So right now we are sitting at minus 0.8, sitting right now at 259 billion. Yesterday we had an opening of 257 billion and closed at 261 billion. What else is going on? Let's look at Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin yesterday had a green day, nice 0.5% gaining on dominance. Right now, losing dominance 0.10%, right? Bitcoin yesterday opened at 72.50, closed at 72.86, and right now is sitting at 72.79. So not losing that much dominance right now. So what is happening with Bitcoin? Anyways, we'll discuss that in a second. Let's go on to Bitcoin news. Now, the crypto exchange OKCoin has pledged to donate 1,000 Bitcoin to community voting-based development fund for the development of Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin SV projects. Now, it will let crypto enthusiasts come to the OKCoin platform and vote for which project they would like to receive a donation, right? Now, for every vote received, OKCoin will send 0.02 Bitcoin or the equivalent on Bitcoin Cash and BSV to the voters' behalf on the selected project to a maximum of 1,000 Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin core developers will listed for the donations include Luke Dash Jr. or Dash Jr. I'm not sure how to say his name. Ben Woolsey, Fanquake, Michael Ford, Sjords Provost, Jonas Schnelly, and Jimmy Song. Now, for Bitcoin Cash, the fund is split between the three major node implementations, which are Bitcoin ABC, BCHD, and Bitcoin Unlimited. And for Bitcoin SB, well, you only have Bitcoin Association and Cambrian SB. That'll be it. Now, also on other news, and to that ETF, and I really wish we had more discussion going on because we have really interesting news, right? Anyways, today VanEck and SolidX announced that VanEck SolidX Bitcoin Trust will begin issuing shares to a restricted set of institutional investors. Shares will start trading on September the 5th. These shares will not be open for retail investors. The shares in this offering are identical to those described in the June 2018 filing, which has not yet been approved for public, right? However, these shares are only available to be purchased by qualified institutional buyers or QIBs under the limitations imposed by Rule 144A of the 1933 Securities Act. Now, I haven't gone and looked at that Rule 144A. I will try to get to it. Today was a really long day at work, so basically just got home in time to read through the news quickly and prepare for the stream. Now, we are talking about a really old Securities Act, right? 1933. Almost 90 years old, right? So maybe someone should consider updating that act, right? Anyways, QIBs are defined as large investors such as banks, insurance companies, pensions, funds, and registered investment advisors, right? That invest at least 100 million in assets. Now, in many ways, the QIB shares will resemble those of other ETFs. However, this rule 144A securities won't be allowed to trade on national security exchanges. Yeah, and we have another article that we're just going to show real quickly, right? Bloomberg newsletter bashes annoying Bitcoin evangelists. Here's what came out, right? And I'm not going to read through the letter. Link is in the description for the article. Just something that I did not like about it is just one reason companies like to sell stuff in dollars is that they owe dollars, so that they avoid potential mismatches between the currency they take in and the currency they spend. Right. I work for a company. I quote in dollars and I take payment in dollars or pesos. I don't mind. I cover myself against variations on the exchange rate, and anyone can do that, right? You raise the price a little bit to cover yourself against possible variations, or you lower the price a little bit depending on what you want to do. Now, right now dollar is dominating, right? But if they end up moving to something else, then dollar would stop dominating, right? And that change doesn't have to be overnight. It can be gradual. Now, apparently this guy, whoever wrote this letter, was pissed because that Bank of England governor recently talked about transitioning to a post-dollar world, and why are we going to move away from the dollar, right? Fear starts to sink in and people get aggressive. So they come out with this weird ass letter saying that the reason to for everything or to solve any problem is Bitcoin, right? The payment system's slow. Use Bitcoin. There's too much excess in natural gas in Texas. Just solve it with Bitcoin. And they're saying that people that there are sort of things that people are saying, right? Now I'm not buying this. He says that Bitcoiners had a predictable response for Bitcoin, right? Like when he said that thing about the dollar, right, and move away from it. And yeah, Bitcoin is a solution to many things, right? It could be. Now, whoever wrote this letter, I can't remember who it was. Might have been trying to find. I can try to remember, but yeah, Joan Weinstall, right? So he stupid. He's gonna get a lot of people against him. Maybe he just wants to make some noise in the market, right? That's about it. His letter is stupid. That's what I believe, and I do believe that if we keep moving away from fiat and people start using cryptos as a form of financial funding and maybe to use it as reserves, right? Then we might be better off. Anyways, onto the Bitcoin chart, and let's see what's going on, because we've actually posted a lot of stuff on the Discord today in the morning regarding Bitcoin and what might happen, and I actually have that open here, right? So we began to give updates at 10 a.m., right? We noticed that we kept on going up overnight. Some of the things that we said yesterday did happen. We said we could come back, test that upsloping channel, use it as support, you know. So that did happen. So we did say, right, we had a small retracement, touch that upsloping channel, use it as support to propel us higher. Still sitting at overbought. We were sitting at 76 in the RSI 1 hour after going into the neutral zone. On the 1 hour, right? After going to a neutral zone and hitting around 62 before running up again. As we discussed yesterday, it was a possibility. It did happen. Now, we were seeing bearish divergence at that time frame, and we were telling to people that we were seeing it, and to get ready for a price move to the downside, right? At least in the 1 hour. We're hitting bearish divergence on the oscillator, MACD, histogram, MACD, and RSI. Divergence also in volume, likely showing exhaustion and potential move to the downside. Maybe retest that upsloping channel again, which we haven't done yet, but we certainly are looking like it, right? So we could flag and then try to reset the oscillator and reverse price action in the short term. On the 4 hour, we had MACD divergence on the histogram, slant divergence at least. Separation of the MACD and signal line, which we'll see if that's still holding right now. But we were sitting high on the RSI 83, not seen that since June the 26th, and you know, we could expect a price reversal and maybe a crossing of the MACD and signal line, right? And then we were talking about last times we were up there and what had happened, and we could touch and run again, so basically go back into the channel on the RSI and then take another impulse up, which would create more bearish divergence probably, which wouldn't be ideal, but we could also like keep on dropping, right, like we did here. Anyways, onto our chart. We are still going down. We broken back into this 25 percentile, top 25 percentile of the channel, from the 75 to 100, sitting above the 20 MA, still making a positive momentum, starting to make it, that crossing of the signal lines we talked about, and sitting around 53 on the RSI, right? Let's go look at the other chart. On the other chart, right, we wanted to see how much we were retracing, so we went ahead and drew fib lines, right, from here to the top. And we noticed that today we started to go down, hit that 0.236 and start and basically rejected it, right? That would begin the retracement zone. We could still go into the 382 and then all the way down to the 618, and that would be fine. Like I said, we're having that separation of the MACD and the signal line, starting to make that positive momentum and sitting around 53 on the other side, which would put us at neutral with room to run to the upside, right? Should we choose to do so on the daily. However, let's go on the 4 hours, because that's another story. On the 4 hours, right, we are starting to make or lose positive momentum. Starting to see that MACD line really take a sharpish turn, which could bring us down, touch that crossover with that signal line, which would potentially mean price action to a downside. We are sitting still at a little bit overbought on the RSI at 70.71 right now. Sitting over the 20 MA, volatility open on the Bollinger Bands. And yeah, well, right now we are just waiting for a bigger pattern to develop because we just had this nice run to the upside. We had small consolidation here before we run up again. On the 1 hour, we actually went back into the neutral zone on the RSI. Not too neutral, but we went back into this bluish zone before we run up again. What things that could happen, right? We could go down, touch that upsloping support line again from that much larger structure, right? And use it as support, bounce off it to higher prices, maybe until we hit that resistance. We could also go down, like we said, to the other nodes on the fibs, right? The 382 and the 618. Or we could even go all the way down here and touch that upsloping structure. But I wouldn't. Right now, there's nothing that would tell me that we would run that hard to the downside, right? There's many things that could happen in between. We have other supports, and at least I would expect us to touch this line again before running to the upside. That is an if. I mean, we could certainly in the 1 hour. We were sitting at neutral in the RSI at 50, and yeah, let's see how that plays out, right? So with that, we created that bearish divergence that we were talking about, right? That had us play to the downside. We knew we were exhausted on the RSI. Price could go down to the downside. However, RSI by itself is not the best indicator because when the prices were going nuts in Bitcoin, hitting those 19,000 and just going up, the RSI didn't care, right? Like we wouldn't even reset it, and we just kept on running and running and running. So in cryptos, yeah, the RSI it's a good indicator, but not by itself. So looking for those other coinciding variables, we could say. We also had some divergence on the volume, at least at that time when we were doing the stream, which was around 10 a.m. We ended up picking up a little bit more volume, but yeah, you can still see that it's less than this, right? So when we started, so divergence in many indicators, which of course had us go to the downside. Touched that 236, which was the beginning of the retrace zone, to consider it a valid retrace, and we were rejecting it. Right now on the 1 hour, like I said, a couple minutes ago, we were actually sitting at 50. Right now we're at 52.45, which is very neutral. We could potentially run again to the upside if we decided to do so. However, we have right now we would be making hidden bullish divergence, right? Even here, right? Which means yeah, usually continuation. So we could go again to the upside, or this one's not so strong as divergence, right? So price continuation, we could potentially see a little bit more price action to the upside. Let's wait and see, right? Yeah. Anyways, like I said, we could come down here, touch this bottom part, and then run up again, and that would be fine. We have confirmed that we are within this upsloping channel again, which is good. I'm gonna remove these ones for the time being. We just talked about them. Just keep it in mind that it could develop. Like I said, we're sitting around neutral on the RSI, and we have again potential to move to the upside. Right now, we are making a small green candle. Right now, I just turned red, but seems that we are fighting with that indecision. Right, stream just started about 20 minutes ago, so this is a 1 hour, 38 minutes left, and we haven't been able to see much more price action to the downside. We still have time, right? We could start to consolidate here a little bit more and then break down. In the 1 hour, there is another fibs that we could trace, which would basically be a movement of these fibs. Why do I trace the fibs here, right? On the daily, right? That was the lowest low we had before we actually started running to the upside and then turning, right? So that's why we trace the fibs from here to here. Now on the 1 hour, right? We could ignore that low, and I'll tell you why in a second. And we can choose this one basically, right? And why would we choose that one? Because in all these cases we ended up retracing to that 382, and then even sometimes, yeah, to the 382 or to the 236, and then we ended up running up again, right? So even in this one from here to here, it will be a very micro, but I'll put it there for you guys to see. Where are my fibs? Here they are. And it was, like I said, from here to which one was it? Here to here, or here. No, it wasn't this one. It was back here. Yeah, here, right. We have that down sloping, or that basically line that we touched down here, right? So I would consider this a high, right, of this smaller thing. And look, we had a couple catalysts, too short of a pattern, right, to 1 hour. So it wouldn't play out that much. But anyways, we had a couple of retraces that went down and actually touched the 618 before we actually started running up again on this smaller trend. That's why I'm not considering it on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, I would fib from here to that top part of the structure, right? And we can see that we actually went a little bit into the 236, and then we are gaining out of it. But however, on the 1 hour, which is a more reliable time frame for trade, we did basically just hit it straight on, and then we bounced off it, right? That's what I would be seeing for Bitcoin right now. I would love for us to run more to the upside, but we are a little bit exhausted on the 4 hour. The 4 hour has not reset, has not had time to reset, and we just not crossed the lines, right? And we are having a little bit more divergence of the MACD and the signal line. We could go down a little bit and then cross over again and go up, right? Yeah, so trying to figure out what else I can say about Bitcoin right now. That'll be about it for Bitcoin. I'll keep on updating on Discord should things start to develop on the things that we discussed. Right now, nothing would point to a much larger price to that downside. Oh, Bitcoin, sorry. I had something else I wanted to show you. It's on the 4 hours. It hasn't developed yet, and it might not develop quite as like a textbook head and shoulders, but I mean, I really don't want to call it head and shoulders yet, but I just want to show you something that I'm seeing that could potentially happen, right? So we could take this like this, right? Snap. There we go. And we can take this as a head. And if we end up dropping down more, and then we consolidate a little bit before running up again, we could potentially make another shoulder, right? So we could create an inverse head and shoulders with a neckline, maybe from here to here. Potential, right? Hasn't developed yet. It's something that I'm looking out for. It wouldn't be weird if we developed it. Potential could be good, right, on the 4 hours to have that, and then maybe even see more price action to the upside. But right now, it's just a thought. I'm not actually gonna leave it here. It's actually a little bit better seen in this chart, right? Like here, and then we're starting to develop this. Maybe we start to develop this other shoulder, right? We are still within this other major triangle. Let's not forget about that. Much larger structure. Back on that major or longer uptrend that we had again, which is good. We haven't touched that upper part of the channel in a while. We could certainly go up and touch it, right? I had this measure move of the height of this pattern, which we will likely not make because we have this resistance that has been we have touched it a couple times, right? So at least 2 or 3. So it could certainly go up, touch it, and then break down again. Things that could happen. Just telling you what I see right now. Anyways, on to Ethereum. This would be that other one. Okay, so yeah. This article covers both Ethereum and Bitcoin. You might wonder why we are covering it on the Ethereum if it also covers Bitcoin. Usually if we have more than 2 or 3 articles for one coin and one of the articles is shared with another coin, we'll just place it on that other coin to keep the stream a little bit more balanced with the news, right? Anyways, VanEck has flipped the switch on a feature that allows traders to speculate on the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum against Tether to up to 100 times leverage, right? That's what this is saying. Now, prior to the rollout of this new 2 derivatives contract, traders could only trade to a maximum of 3.3 times leverage. On Bitfinex's standard exchange, traders could use 3.3 times leverage, and basically the position would be closed if the coin moved in the opposite direction by 30%. Right now, when trading with that maximum leverage of 100 times, your position can be liquidated if the exchange moves just 1% against, right? So the crypto market, as we know, can have wild swings. We see more than 1% movements on the daily. So, I mean, trading 100%, 100 times leverage could be really dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. If you do have access to that part of the exchange, because I think this is just for the Hong Kong exchange, right? So if you have access to that, be careful, don't get wrecked. It's for sure that this leverage trading option is not available in the US, Canada, Switzerland, and even Seychelles, right? So there, it's out. Now on to other Ethereum news. Micromixer, it's a mixer for Ethereum and Ethereum-based tokens, and will also be an anonymous token swapping service on Ethereum, and it was announced today, promising decentralized and non-custodial swaps. Now, we yesterday discussed swaps a little bit, and actually Sean Christian had a couple questions on swaps, and he actually showed me atomic swaps and some other things that I had not looked into before. I'm just covering this article because of the swaps, not so much for the decentralized autonomous organizations, but mainly the swaps. Right now, like we know, mixing. This is just experimental right now, right? It's insecure and not audited. That's what they're stating. But the technology could be used to trade anonymous one day. That's interesting. However, the mixing services lets the users anonymously swap their coins with other people in order to hide their transaction history. That could also be useful, right? Anyways, that's all the news we have for Ethereum. We're going to go on to the chart. Ethereum chart might go a little bit lightly today. I have not... like we said, right? Bitcoin is the Pied Piper, and it's setting up the tune for the rest of the coins. So Ethereum, yesterday, lost dominance. What a surprise. 1.65% down. Right now, getting dominance, 0.36%. Price of Bitcoin, we didn't say, but it's sitting at 10,500, right? Or around 10,522. Anyways, Ethereum. Green day yesterday, slightly, but at least making 0.09% up, and right now it's making 0.41% down. So let's look at what's going on, right? In the more shorter scale, volatility opened in the Bollinger Band, sitting below 20 MA. Starting to make positive momentum. That crossing of the MACD and the signal line, right? Potential more price action to the upside. However, we haven't diverged very much, and we could just basically do a quick turn and cross over again. Sitting alone, the RSI around 40. We still have a lot of room to run to the upside, so let's wait and see how that develops. On the 4 hours, right? No one had a movement as strong to the upside than Bitcoin. That's why Bitcoin gained dominance, and everyone else basically lost dominance yesterday. A lot of money flowing into Bitcoin. Look at this retrace, man. We went down, touched that structure, right? Confirming we're out of it. When was that? Yesterday at, today at 3 in the morning, right? So we basically went down, touched it. Now we can say that we're outside because we have confirmation, at least in the 4 hours. We made some slant divergence right here. It's very slight, but still, maybe what we're seeing price to the downside, right? Also, we were high on the RSI. Not too high, but high. We could also see slant divergence here on the MACD and on momentum also, right? We're diverging a little bit. Not momentum, but volume. It's very slight, but it's there. Bearish divergence, right? Potential price action to the downside. Same thing's happening. Like I said, Bitcoin is just setting up the tune for everyone else, and everyone is just following suit. Now we went high on the RSI, not to the overbought territory, but certainly high on bot scale at 68.39. Right now, we are sitting at 57.70. So going back into the more mellow, neutral zone. And, we could keep on running to the upside. However, I, like with Bitcoin, expect to see some price action to the downside. I'm not going to trace fibs in this. We might just hit that 20 MA and then bounce off it. Or if Bitcoin decides to dump a little bit more, we're going to dump more. And if Bitcoin decides to run to the upside, we are going to run to the upside. Like we said, Bitcoin is such a large part of the market. Hi, Sarah Elizabeth. How's it going? Thank you for being here. I hope you guys are doing well with the rain and the winds. Sean told me that you guys were having some wind still. He told me he was still bunkered down. So I saw that the hurricane's still over the Bahamas, not moving very much, but at least it got degraded to Category 3. And at least you won't be hit with the full force of the Category 5 storm unless it picks up something else, right? So you go, okay, so you were able to go to work. That's cool. So that means that the rains and everything is not as strong, I guess, or I hope. You are driving home. Okay, well, if you are, sorry, you are driving actually. I thought you were getting home. So drive safe. Don't get distracted by the stream. If you want, you can just listen to us and that'll be fine. Keep your eyes on the road, not on the cell phone. We can just keep on chatting, right? All right, it's outside of Orlando now. Okay. Cool. Awesome, thanks. Anyways, let's keep on going. So Ethereum, right, sitting at $178.48. Like we said, flagging down a little bit. It's fine. With nothing much we can do. Starting to make a little bit less positive momentum or decreasing positive momentum. That's about it. Nothing much going on with Ethereum right now. We are following the tune of Bitcoin, and that's where we will likely do with all the altcoins, right? Now on the 1 hour, right, we just went below the 20 MA, so we could see some potential movement to downside, touching that bottom part of the Bollinger Bands for sure. Volatility open. We had that cross on the MACD signal, right? And right after we got it, boom, long movement to the downside, right? Making negative momentum. Things that could happen right now. Let's see, not quite, but we could. If we go a little bit more, if we make a little bit more negative momentum, we might make some sort of bullish divergence, which could then potentially see us to more traction to the upside. Now on the RSI, we're sitting at neutral. We're sitting at 49.23 with potential movement to both sides, upside and downside. So it will depend on what Bitcoin does as well. That'll be it for Ethereum. Not like I said, the altcoins are not doing much on their own. That will. If we analyze a Bitcoin, we could determine what most of the altcoins will do, particularly the major ones, right? There were no news for Ripple today, so I'm just going to jump into the charts. I wish there were some good news, but everything that is out on Ripple, we had already covered, or it's just FUD news, right? So we don't give into the FUD. Anyways, let's go on the daily. Okay, XRP on the daily. Yesterday had a negative day. Lost 0.07%, right? Right now gaining some dominance on the market, so gaining 0.22%. That's pretty good. We're sitting at 4.33 right now. Price of Ripple sitting at 0.2619, so 26 cents. Yesterday, green day, right? Today, red day, slightly, not too much, 0.49% down. But yesterday we had a 0.66% up on the daily. Things that we are seeing right now on the daily, everything's fine. We have that cross of the MACD and the signal line. Signal low on the RSI at 40.02, which puts us right on the sold and getting to that place where we can actually see more price action to the upside. Like with everyone else down within that down sloping channel. Some contraction on the Bollinger Bands, but not too much on the daily. Let's go to the 4 hours. On the 4 hours, sitting above that 20 MA, making momentum starting to stagnate. It just basically looks like the Ethereum chart, right? Sitting around at 56 on the RSI. Let's wait for something to happen. Here we haven't actually gone back and retested that downsloping line as support, and that is completely fine. There's no problem with that. Let's wait and see what develops on Ripple. There's no many signals that we can see. Maybe. I'm just gonna see this real quick. It's such a small scale that we were making like Class C bearish divergence, which is not very strong. However, enough to see us some price to downside, but that's just because Bitcoin is going down. So let's go on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, price action to a downside, dropping below that. Are we sitting right at the 20 MA or just below it? We are sitting barely below that 20 MA on the 1 hour. Anyways, crossing of the MACD and the signal line, so we could potentially see a little bit more price action to the downside before we actually turn. Sitting up on the 20 MA, volatility open on the Bollinger Bands, and sitting at 51 on the RSI. Not much going on. Not much going on. Right. Everything else, well, here, right? On the 1 hour, we can see that divergence a little bit better. So from here to here and from here to here, right? That bearish divergence, that saw us do price action to a downside, right? Or not even downside that much, but just more of like a somewhat consolidation. It's, yeah, like I said, we're just following what Bitcoin's doing, so really not enough to do a lot of time here. On Litecoin, what a surprise, no news. News on Litecoin have been lacking lately, and that's not pretty good when you can't come up with good news for a coin, right? Even bad news, there's nothing. It's just price prediction. Anyways, on the Litecoin, let's see, on dominance on the daily. Litecoin yesterday made a nice green day, right? Gaining 0.98% dominance. Right now, losing dominance, 0.36, sitting at 1.66% of market dominance. Litecoin price yesterday, nice green candle, right? 2.86% up. Right now, negative candle, so red candle, minus 1.32%. We are sitting below at 20 MA, volatility open on the Bollinger Bands. No signs of contraction on that Bollinger Bands. Starting to make positive momentum. Just had that cross of the MACD and signal line yesterday, or 2 days ago. And sitting low on the RSI at 38. Again, huge potential to move to the upside. Let's hope we can see that. We are still within that major downsloping channel. We just broken out of this small wedge we had traced. We don't get many contact points on the daily, but we do on the 4 hours. I think that's why we had it, right? And on did I move the line the other day or something? Because I'm not getting the contact points. Anyways, we'll fix that real quick, right? If we go here and here, and then we can include this, and then we'll be within that downsloping wedge, or we can exclude that line, and we will still be within that downsloping wedge. I'm gonna exclude it. I'm gonna assume it's FOMO, and basically we are still within that downsloping wedge. That's fine. Let's look at it on the daily. We already analyzed it, right? So we're gonna look at the 4 hours real quick. We are on the 4 hours, sitting above that 20 MA, starting to make that candle negative. I'm gonna make this a little bit longer because we have broken back into that upsloping channel. Not quite using that 50% of that line or the midline as support. We have crossed the midline on the MACD, which is usually good, but we're not seeing a lot of strong impulse right now. As with everyone else, we made some sort of divergence. We're seeing movement to the downside, bearish divergence to clarify, and we're seeing a small hook happening on the on the MACD, which might see us cross that signal line and then see more price action to the downside. On the RSI, sitting at 59, which would put us on safe territory, so we would be good. Let's look at the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, right, we are above that. No, we're below that 20 MA right now. Volatility open in the Bollinger Bands, starting to contract a little bit, but not too much. We just crossed the signal lines, and we are seeing a price action to the downside, which is normal. Starting to see negative momentum develop. No signs of stopping yet. And what else? Sitting at 48 on the RSI, which puts us as neutral. So we could still go down, touch that upsloping channel, that support from that upsloping channel, that midline from that upsloping channel, and we would be completely fine. Like I said, everyone's just following Bitcoin, right? No one recovered like Bitcoin did, but everyone's just following it in the same market tune, right? So everyone's marching to the same beat. Anyways, to Binance. We only had this article. We already covered it the other day. I just wanted to show it. There's something else that they mentioned here that we didn't say on that previous stream. I think it was like 4 days ago or 5 days ago. If you guys haven't done it yet, you should subscribe. Hit that like button and that bell. Liking us is really good for the algorithm. It lets them know that you really think good of our content, and then it helps us promote it to other people. So if you haven't liked us, like us. Anyways, on the Binance, right? They launched Binance X. We already stated that previously. They will be funding more than 40 developers researching open source crypto software. We already said that as well. However, what we did not say before is that the platform is created to serve cryptocurrency-focused counterpart to X Development, research and development subsidiary of Google parent company Alphabet. So apparently they might be working with Google to some extent, which might be interesting. Now onto the Binance dominance. On the daily. Yesterday Binance lost some dominance. Large red candle, largish, not too large. 3.9% down from the previous day, and right now being at 0.475% down, also making a red candle, sitting at 1.33% dominance. We didn't say the price of Litecoin. Litecoin is sitting at $68.30. Binance is sitting at $22.16, and we'll just start looking into it right now. We are still sitting within that downsloping channel. Nothing much has changed, although we did see a small movement to the upside that shifted momentum. We have not crossed the lines, right? The MACD is still below the signal line. If we get that cross, we could potentially see price action to the upside, propelling us at least to first hit that 20 MA, well, the midline of the channel to begin with, then the 20 MA, then that upper part of the channel. I'm just going to extend it a little bit to keep the trend going. We are sitting low on the RSI at 34, which a lot of room to run to the upside, which I hope we do on Binance, because it's just been weak lately. We've been losing price since August the 8th, and we haven't been able to make we've just been within that downsloping channel on the daily. I hope we break out of it and see more price action to the upside. If Bitcoin manages to keep on being bullish, we might see it, and that'll be good. However, like we said with Bitcoin, we need to reset the oscillators and run again, right? We're hitting we're out of gas or out of fuel in some of the oscillators, so we need to go back into that neutral zone, refuel, and run again. Binance on the daily, okay, on the 4 hours. On the 4 hours, sitting above that 20 MA, volatility open in the Bollinger Bands, starting to make less positive momentum. We might get a cross of the MACD over the signal line, which would potentially mean price action to the downside on the 4 hours, and we are sitting around 47.25 on the RSI. On the 1 hour, there's something off with the music. It just keeps on restarting. Sorry about that, guys. I'm gonna try to see if I can get a new track to play. There we go. Anyways, on the hour, wow, we were sitting below that 20 MA. We just hit a large red candle, the making us diverge again from that signal line with the MACD, right? And making a little bit less, a little bit more negative momentum. And we are going into sold territory, sitting at 38, but not too low. We still can run, make a little bit low price, and then bounces to the upside. That is what is going on with Binance. It didn't follow Bitcoin as much. You can see that we haven't recovered as much on Binance as we did with the other coins. Look at where Binance is right now, right? It's below that $23, and we dropped from like $25. Just think about it in your heads percentage wise. I'm not gonna do the calculation right now. Look at Litecoin, right? Litecoin recovered. Litecoin went from $72, and it's right now sitting, or it went up to at least a high of 70, right? Right now it's sitting at 68, but it went to a low of 61, so it recovered quite a bit more than what Binance did. Ripple also recovered, not as nice, but it recovered, right? It was sitting at 26 cents, 26.7 cents. It did recover all the way up to 26.7 cents, and right now it's sitting at 26.1. So it's good, right? Everyone is recovering from that drop they had, and except for Binance. Binance has not been able to make that recovery. Ethereum went from 187 all the way down to 164 or 163.70, then went all the way up to 183, so almost recovered all the way, and right now it's sitting at 178, which is still fine. Percentage-wise recovery is good, right? We could fib it. I'm not gonna fib it right now. I just want to talk about it real quick. And with Bitcoin, right, we can see Bitcoin, we took a drop. I'm gonna take the same drop that I'm taking from everyone else, from 1,274. We went all the way down, touched that like 9,300 level, so almost $1,000 down, $900 down, and then from there we just recovered, right, all the way up to 10,700. So we went from 9,300 to 9,000. 10,700, which is a nice recovery. And right now we're sitting at 10,550. So, like I said, Bitcoin recovered like no one else. Everyone else recovered, yeah, somewhat. And then Binance is just losing terrain. Guys, that's all I have for today. If there are any questions on the chat, feel free to ask. Otherwise, we might just end the stream. Alright, since there's no more questions, guys, thank you for watching, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. That keeps us coming back right now. We really want to get this community going. Tell your friends that we are here if you believe they will be interested in this content. Again, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you're notified when we go live. We are live every day. Join our Discord. We do post updates there. At least yesterday and today we have posted good updates that have basically hit the nail on the head with what's going on with the market. Yeah, so as long as we can see things that develop and we can believe we can predict what's going to happen, we at least will try to post them there. So it's very important that you join us there as well. That way we can let you know what's going on when we are not streaming live, right? Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Sarah, thanks for tuning in. I know you were listening, and I hope at least it was entertaining while you were driving or while you were on the road. Sean Christian, I know you were bunkered down, man. I'm not sure if you were able to watch or not. If you weren't, that's fine. I hope I'll see you tomorrow if things are good with you and the hurricane. And Soka, I know you told me you sent me a message telling me that you were going to be in a meeting, but I hope you do get to catch this stream later on. And let us know what you think, right? Anyways, let's see real quick. What's happening with Hurricane Dorian? Where are the news? Where is it at? Damn, son, look at all those containers dropped. Yeah, nothing from Florida yet. Apparently, hurricane is starting to move a little bit, but still over the Bahamas mainly. At least that's from the report from an hour and 7 minutes ago. Getting a little more rain or more of that cloud coverage on Florida. So, guys, apparently it's all the way going all the way up to Charleston now, right? At least the tail of the hurricane is all the way up there. Yeah, guys, like I said, stay safe. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. That will be all for today. I hope I'll see you all tomorrow. Until next time.